So welcome everyone. My name is Eliza Riley, your menopause coaching specialist and founder of Menopause and Chill. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Wellness, where I bring you real talk, natural strategies, and unapologetic support for navigating midlife like the boss you are. So I want to talk to you guys about the Oprah menopause special. If you got to see it, I know it just aired this just a couple of nights ago, actually. So if you did have a chance to see it, I would love to see that in the chat. Just let me know. And it doesn't matter if you didn't. I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on it anyway, the good, the bad, the ugly, and there's a truck outside my house, so hopefully that won't interrupt us too much. If you haven't seen it, just so you know, you still can. Like I don't right now, I don't know which one of the streaming services is offering it, but you can go in on Hulu or Max, or I'm not sure which one, but one of them is offering it. I saw it when I was looking for something to watch last night. I saw it there, but didn't know where I saw it. So I apologize for that, but you can see it. So let me go ahead and hop right into it. So because there's actually quite a bit to unpack about this special. And I'll tell you guys, I am so glad that it aired. I'm so glad that that we're having the conversation. But there were some moments that truly had me like nodding along, and there were others that made me want to throw my golden milk at the screen. Talk about menopausal rage? Yes, please. One of the most frustrating things that I see every day as a menopause coach, and you guys may see this too. You know, if you're in Facebook groups that are centered around menopause, or if you're talking with your friends, you've probably heard someone say, "I can't take HRT because of the breast cancer risk," right? And one of the things that I'm so grateful that Oprah said on the show, on the special, she talked about the WHI study from 2002. That's that study that scared the crap out of everyone, and made people run for the hills from HRT. Well, it was wrong. Okay. Back in 2002, when that study came out, it claimed a 26% increase in breast cancer risk for women using HRT. And that number back in 2002 made headlines. It was everywhere. It terrified women. It made doctors stop prescribing, even to women who had already been using it successfully and without issue for years. It made them stop giving it even to them. It made a whole generation of women suffer through menopause. But here's the thing. That 26% number wasn't the actual risk. It was a relative increase, and it only applied to one group of women. It was those women who were using synthetic estrogen, and synthetic progestin. And even then, even if you were one of those women who were on those specific hormones, even then, the actual increase was not 26%, it was less than 1%. And the thing that drives me most crazy about this particular situation was that back in 2002, when they were like 26%, 26%, it was everywhere. It was on every news program. Everybody was talking about this 26% increase. But a few years ago, like literally, it's been several years now, the study authors, the same people who said 26%, have quietly walked it back and admitted that they were wrong, that it was actually less than 1%. And most women and their doctors never got that update. So when I hear women who say, "I can't take HRT because of the breast cancer risk," I truly have to I have to step back. I have to take a breath. But I want to say, someone lied to you, or at the very least, someone gave you outdated, incomplete information. And if you take nothing else away from our time together this evening, take this. The odds of you being one of those very few women who truly cannot take HRT are very slim. Dr. Mary Mary Claire Haver. I don't know if you guys have heard of her. She has a wonderful book on menopause, and she's very well known within the menopause health. She said on the show, why would doctors believe that estrogen, the stuff our bodies naturally make, would try to kill us? And I love that. That's such a good point. But if that's the story that you're telling yourself, it's time that you look into your actual risk and maybe even the risk benefits of HRT for you. Okay, so that was the first thing. That was the first thing that I was like, yay, yes, we're talking about it. We're bringing that study into prime time where it needs to be. So another one of my favorite parts of the special was when Naomi Watts talked about shame. And because let's be real, there is a lot of grief, loss, and silence around the menopause transition. We women get bombarded with this message that menopause means, along with a loss of our periods, it also means a loss of our youth, a loss of our value. And I see it all the time. Women don't like themselves. They feel embarrassed by what their bodies are doing, whether it's drying up or creating a stink. And we've all been there. We all know. You truly believe that you're the only one. And the truth is, you're not broken, you're not crazy, and you're not alone. I think that, again, this is another one of the beautiful things about having Oprah talking about this on prime time, is because so many women are desperately going through this on their own, and just bringing the conversation into the light is so important, because we cannot heal what we keep hidden, and we do not have to do this without support. One of for me, one of the best parts about the special was just that menopause is finally being talking about in prime time, y'all. Like, I'm just so excited for that. Another thing that I appreciated, though, was that they brought up how menopause looks different across cultures and ethnicities. And I'll tell you guys, I'm not the person to educate deeply on that, but just the fact that they brought up awareness to this fact that different women experience menopause differently, it's powerful, and that conversation needs to continue. So I hope that, especially if you're a woman of color and you are struggling, that you know that there are resources out there specifically for you. They did talk about those in the special. Again, I think it's just amazing that we're just having these conversations. I also thought it was interesting that some women blamed menopause for their divorce. And I get that. Between the mood shifts, the rage, the mental health struggles, it's real. But maybe, just maybe, y'all hear me out. If men were actually invited to have the conversations, to be informed about what we're going through, and if women were offered real options, maybe some of those relationships could have been supported instead of lost. Maybe. I think it's a travesty that we've decided that for generations, menopause has been kept completely in the closet. You don't talk about it. You don't talk to your daughters. You don't talk to your spouse. You don't talk to your girlfriends or your sisters. You don't talk to your mom. We don't have the conversations. But even now, today, even though we're proudly standing up for the fact that this is a thing that we're struggling with, and we're not going to do it alone anymore, we're still like, but don't tell the guys. Don't tell them. No, we don't want them to know what we're actually struggling with. We don't want them to know that we're not always juicy, and that we're not always smelling like roses. Like, there's so many things that happen in our bodies that we're just still ashamed to share with the men in our lives. And we need to start speaking up for ourselves, because also they need to be aware of what's happening with us. And finally, the last piece that I loved about the program was the idea of the menopause siesta party. That's what I don't know if I like the name. I think the name's interesting, but Halle Berry talked about the menopause siesta party because, you know, we celebrate births, we celebrate weddings, we celebrate bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, but we don't celebrate menopause. And the reality is, it is just another one of those major life transitions. But instead of celebrating it, apologize for my phone, we whisper it like it's something that we have to hide. And I think that it's time that we stop mourning what we've lost and start celebrating all that we gain through this transition, because there are some truly bright, there's so much that we do gain. My point is that there were some truly bright and brilliant moments from the special, and that's the ones that I took away from it. And if you watch, you may find more that I missed. But on the flip side, there were some things that did not sit right with me. I will tell you guys, I spent, well, the entire show, really, I spent the entire show optimistically waiting for someone to start talking about holistic health. And we finally got it when Maria Shriver talked about the Cleveland Clinic. The Cleveland Clinic calls their approach holistic. And I'm sorry, but if your toolkit is prescriptions, procedures, and synthetic suppression, so I'm sorry, and symptom suppression, excuse me, that's just not holistic. That's pharma wrapped in a wellness bow. True holistic care means looking at root causes. It means looking at lifestyle. It means looking at trauma and nutrition and your environment, not just handing out pills with better branding. And for me, the biggest travesty, my jaw actually dropped. There was a point on the show where and I apologize because I don't remember what her credentials were, but she was a brain doctor. And she said, and of course I'm paraphrasing, she said, when you have your first hot flash, you need medication. Actually, she said, you need a pill. She said, you need to go to your doctor, you need a pill. She said, or it only gets worse. And she was talking about Alzheimer's, dementia, brain health. And I'm sorry, but no, like, I have to call bullshit on that one. That is not science. That's fear-based marketing disguised as medical advice. And it makes me truly angry that any doctor is telling you that if you don't go and get a pill, then your brain health is going to decline. Like, no. 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 I mean, come on. How many of our ancestors did get through menopause without taking a bunch of pills? And they didn't all get dementia. They didn't all get Alzheimer's. Now, yes, we do have a lot of women who have that. I have my own opinions on why, and I won't get into those tonight, maybe some other time. But there are so many natural, effective ways to support brain health and hormone balance and your energy levels without jumping straight to you need a pill. And I think you guys are with me on that one, right? You can let me know if you're with me on that one. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, so Kim says that you can still watch the special on Hulu. I thought it was Hulu, but I didn't want to say for sure. Thank you for verifying. So the interesting thing is that for me, well, the most interesting piece of this whole thing for me was that, you know, here we are. Yes, this was prime time. Yes, Oprah brought some big names. And yes, the conversation is long overdue. But let's be real. This was a narrow, pharma-driven version of what menopause support can look like. It didn't include women who have healed through food, or nervous system work, or herbal support, or trauma release. And all of those things are going to heal and help you to get through this transition more easily in your body. And there was no actual education about how hormones interact with the rest of your life, because it affects everything. So, and again, like, I truly believe that most of us here, we recognize that we need more than pharma influencers. We need real practitioners. We need real stories, real solutions. By the time most of us are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, we've taken enough prescriptions, we've followed enough doctor's orders, and we've suffered enough side effects to know that we are at to be at a point where we are saying, you know what? I want a different approach. I want to do something differently. So I'll tell you guys, that's really why I do what I do. I as a menopause coach, I'm not here to replace your doctor, but I am here to help you feel seen, heard, and supported as a whole person, and not just a pile of symptoms, because you deserve more than a prescription pad and a pat on the head. I don't just cool your hot flashes. I help you get to the root of what's throwing your body off so that those symptoms don't keep popping up in new disguises later, because that's what happens with allopathic medicine is you band-aid the symptom and it just pops up somewhere else in a different way, because your body is always trying to communicate with you and tell you what's happening down deep. And what I do is I help you to slow down and learn to listen when your body whispers so that it doesn't have to scream to get your attention. And if anything that I've shared with you guys tonight has you nodding along and thinking that, yes, this is the kind of support that you want, then I have opened up just a few free strategy session spots for women who are ready to stop spinning in confusion and finally get clarity on what your symptoms actually mean, what's been keeping you stuck, and what you can do starting now to move forward. In our strategy session, you will after our strategy session, you will walk away with clear, personalized action steps, no fluff, no pressure. And please know, this is not a sales pitch. I do only open a handful of these each week, and they tend to go fast. So I will drop a link. I was going to say I dropped the link in the chat, but I didn't bring the link. So I will drop the link in the recording so you guys have it there. But I guess my takeaway, my final thoughts on this is that I'm so glad that menopause is finally getting airtime. The problem that I have with the way that this particularly happened, this special with Oprah happened, is that it was such a narrow view of how women can heal through this menopausal transition. I'm absolutely certain that this is an opportunity to finally slow down and listen to what our body is telling us, and to heal in a way that it's not temporary, that it's long-term healing. And I think that when it comes to this menopause conversation, we need more voices who are sharing more perspectives and more real options. We need that. And the truth is, your body is not betraying you. I know it feels like it, but it's not. It's communicating with you. This is the big lesson that I try to teach, and I hope you guys are hearing me. Your body is communicating with you with every symptom. Listen to it when it's whispering, when it's a symptom that you think it wasn't that bad. Because if you don't, and most of us, by the time we get to this point, we already have heard the scream. We've already ignored until our body is screaming at us and we don't have a choice but to go in and deal with the situation. Your body is communicating with you. You may need someone to help you to translate what your body is saying, to help you understand the language of your body. So if you didn't watch the special, I hope you'll take the time to go and watch it. It was an hour long, so not super long. And I would love to hear your feedback on it. What resonated? What, if anything, bothered you? And thank you guys so much for spending this time with me here on Weekly Wellness, where we cut through the noise, support the whole woman, and remind you, once again, you're not crazy, you're not alone, and you're not done. You still have so much more going on. So if you're watching the replay, please be sure to drop a comment. And I'd love to hear what landed for you guys. So let's keep the conversation going, and be sure to join me next week for another weekly wellness live. And if you're here with me live and you are if you're looking for the Oprah special, Dar, you can watch that on Hulu. And if you would like to, and I apologize I didn't bring the link, but if you would like to get the link for that free strategy session, you can let me know in the chat and I will reach out to you with that. Thank you guys all for being here with me and for participating in the chat. I really appreciate it. And I love seeing your comments. All right. You guys have a great day. Karen, I can do that for you. Dara, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.